Hello everybody, and welcome back to the stage of 5-Digit World Cup 2026. My name is Aquatic, and joining me today is going to be the lovely Wilwam. How are you today, Wilwam?
I'm doing fantastic, and I think we have a pretty interesting match on our hands, right? We have this final match of Group G. It's going to be the decider match, actually, between seed 31 Portugal, and seed 37 Austria. Now, these two teams have been quite interesting in the group so far. Portugal is 1-1 right now, beating Malaysia and losing to Finland. Meanwhile, Austria lost to Malaysia and won against Finland. So really, the winner of this match is just going to be the one advancing to the bracket stage. So it's going to be quite an interesting one for sure. We're going to be getting on to the picks and bans. I believe they've already happened, actually. But looks like we're going to be getting to this Hard Rock 3, so we'll save that for later, actually.
Indeed, and here we go into this Hard Rock 3. It's going to be Plaubbes Dustwind, mapper by Knowledge King, and it is going to be on the shorter side of things, actually, sorry. Just drain time of just over 2 minutes, and here we go into the stream sections. Hakoshi finds that first miss.
Going to get into this first section, we see what this map is all about. It's really about those 210 BPM bursts, which pretty consistent, all things considered. I think not many people should struggle too much until we get into the later stages of the map, and everyone else seems to be just doing just fine. It was really just the early break from Kaai on the side of Austria that's giving Portugal this early score lead, but you know, we just have to see if any more breaks come out into this next third of the map.
Yeah, but everyone else is holding strong right now. 7 FCs on the board. Just Hakoshi slightly less combo, giving Portugal the edge here. 900k versus 870k, just over 50k of score lead. Austria's gonna need Portugal to find another miss if they want any chance of consolidating this point. And there it is, MTG finds that miss.
And yeah, that crucial break from MTG left unresponded from the side of Austria now. And Austria are going to start bringing that score lead back pretty quickly with that solid recovery combo from Kaai now. Score lead is on a knife's edge, but Volki is the one to find the break for the side of Austria into this last third of the map. And the scoreline is just 3k as the streams get longer and longer.
Oh, and there it is, another miss. Traded immediately, though. That's 2 FCs down. But it's still two FCs for Portugal versus 1. Actually, not quite.
And yeah, it's 2 FCs on the side for Portugal, just versus 1 recovery combo on the side of Hakoshi here. And Portugal are just going to be running away with it. And with that last combo broken from Kaai, that's all hopes of making a recovery gone for Austria now as we get into this final section. And Kenzel for the side of Portugal is the only one left standing on the FC now, and Portugal are going to be taking that solid first Hard Rock 3 pick to their side. 450k score lead, I mean, just a very solid showing from them, and they're going to be taking this up 1-0.
Indeed. Kenzo with a very impressive FC with 98.5%. No FCs to be found on Team Austria, but that is still not a very shabby score indeed. Holding the score lead on a knife's edge until the very, very end. Any predictions for what Austria might respond with, Wilwam?
I mean, I think to talk about that, we have to kind of go back a bit and talk about the protects and bans that we sort of missed, right? I believe Portugal ended up protecting out the Hidden 2, meanwhile Austria protecting out the Nomad 3. I think these are pretty expected protects from both sides, right? Portugal, I think, notably a lot stronger than Austria on the gimmickier picks. Meanwhile, Austria, I think Portugal did struggle quite a bit with the Nomad 3 in qualifiers. So I think pretty expected stuff. And then bans-wise, Portugal are going to be banning out DT1 and Nomad 4. I think this is what they've done previously as well. Portugal really don't seem to like that Nomad 4 for some reason. And DT1, I think they're banning out as just getting rid of that RNG consistency. Meanwhile, Austria is going to be taking out DT2 and DT3, both those speedier maps in the pool, which, you know, I think kind of makes sense, right? I believe that Portugal did have a pretty strong showing on all of the DTs, getting number 6 on the qualifiers DT2, which for, you know, a 31 team is damn impressive, so not surprised to see Austria taking out those DT picks. And it's going to be Australia to respond with a hidden 3 pick. Interesting choice here, actually.
Yeah, indeed, especially considering Portugal's preference for Protect on that HD2. They are, of course, very, very different skill sets, but nonetheless, it seems that Portugal is not too shabby on the HD picks either, so this seems like a very risky first pick into this match from Austria.
Yeah, I do agree it does feel quite risky as a pick, but I think when it comes to this matchup, Austria have a lot less confident picks as opposed to Portugal, which I think have, you know, the DT pool, the gimmick pool at their disposal. But I think this combines the things that Portugal notably struggled on a lot in the qualifiers, right? It combines that tech element, which they clearly don't like, and the hidden as well, which I think Australia performed a lot better on compared to Portugal. So I'm not too surprised seeing them pick into a map like this early. And this map, you know, combines those two elements, as I've said, right? It's all about those sliders on the hidden and some flowy patterns, some accel decel bursts, as you saw right there. We're going to be catching out Kendall and Cappy and Calamity as well to find those early breaks. Actually, a lot of early breaks across the board, which is not good at all. This is a very short map, so you really need to make sure you're building up that combo.
Yeah, and right off the bat, it seems that Portugal is holding on to that combo lead, but Austria is making up the score that's purely based off of the accuracy, with the only FC being on Studia.
Yeah, Studia is going to be finding that break, though. That's pretty bad, and that score is just going to flip right back to Portugal's side. All 4 players now have that pretty solid recovery combo, and we're going to need to see some breaks on the side of Portugal. And there is one. Curb the Beast on the side of Portugal finds that crucial break. And the score is still on a nice edge right now as we move into this next third of the map. Austria needs something more to take this back, and Dumb Idiot on the side of Portugal finds that miss, but is traded right back by Studia. And as multiple breaks on the Austrian side crumble, it's looking dire and dire for the side of Austria right now.
The crucial combo, last FC on the side of Portugal. MTG finds that miss. There is one response from Team Austria. Kenzo finds the miss as well. The only combo left in the lobby is Gazelle. Is there enough map? Is there enough time to make it back? 100k score lead. I don't think it is, and I think Portugal is going to take the first breakpoint of this match. Austria's HD3 pick backfired on them, as we have predicted earlier. The risky pick has not paid off, and the short map length certainly did not help with that.
I mean, it was looking kind of doable for Austria there, Cal was holding all the way to the very end there, but unfortunately, just not enough time to bring that score lead back. And as you mentioned, Portugal are going to be taking that first breakpoint of the match now. Going to be picking into No Mod 5 immediately. I think this is a pretty expected pick for the side of Portugal, actually. They are notably quite a lot stronger on the Gimmioka picks, which I think Austria struggled quite a lot on throughout this tournament on the qualifiers, and just not liking it all throughout this group stage. So pretty expected pick here out from Portugal.
Indeed, it is the low AR pick of the no mod pool. I mean, considering Portugal's Protect is that HD2, this is, of course, not a surprise whatsoever. We're going to see how well Portugal can perform on this compared to Austria, and perhaps Austria can surprise us with some pop-off performances as well.
One thing I would like to mention is I'm surprised that Austria didn't end up banning this against Portugal, given that Portugal is so much stronger on the gimmick, right? Austria went straight for those, what was it? It was the DT bans, right? I guess, you know, I guess it's valid to battle the DT where you have less of a chance against the team that just shreds DT quite heavily. But, you know, I would have expected them to take out this No Mod 5 pick. I don't think we have seen it from either team throughout this group stage, so it will be interesting to see how both teams perform. But I think Portugal, for sure, on paper, is going to be the one favored on this sort of map.
So, and as we get right into this map, it is going to be Sweeping Promises Cross Me Out. AR at a whopping 6 AR, and length on the relatively long side being at 2 minutes and 51 seconds.
I mean, I think the main thing to mention about this map is just that CS5 AR6, as well as just all of this awkward accel decel in that can really trip you up, right? The density of this map just makes aiming it so inconsistent, and it's catching a bunch of people off guard now. Volky, Hakashi, Kenzo, and Mihail all finding early breaks there. It's just 2 FCs to 2 right now, but Portugal is taking that pretty sizable early score lead, right? Just based off that accuracy. They're all the way up there. Look at Curve the Beast, all the way up at 99.6.
Yeah, indeed, and you've said it, Curve the Bee is holding on to by far the best accuracy in the entire lobby. Austria desperately keeping themselves in the game still with the combos from Studia and Cappy, but it is just not enough to face up against Curve the Beast. The beast that he is, Cappy finds that miss, and it is going to be 2 FCs to none as Studia also resets. It is just going to be Hakashi's recovery combo, but that is not going to be enough against Mihao, Shotzi, and Curve the Beast.
Yeah, it's just no real anything to contest on Austria's side against these 2 FCs on Portugal, right? And that score lead is only getting higher and higher. I mean, there's still a good half the map left, but the side of Portugal is just looking so solid. And, you know, we're just really going to need to see those breaks come out if Austria want to take back.
Indeed, and just looking at how comfortable these players are on the side of Portugal, it does not seem very plausible that Austria can find their way back on this point now. Already halfway through the map, there's no sizable combo besides Hakashi on the side of Austria, and there is 2 FCs and 1 recovery for Portugal still.
I mean, a lot of breaks here, but it's still just those 2 FCs that we're looking at. Getting a bit of technical issues here, but as it stands right now, Portugal just has that incredibly large 300k score difference, and I mean, we've just been saying it, right? We just need to see something happen on the side of Portugal if Austria wants to take this back, but as it stands right now, nothing is happening at all. I mean, Volky and Hakashi may hold those lovely recovery combos, but you know, unless we see those FCs fall on the side of Portugal, nothing's gonna come out of this.
Yeah, we do see the misses come out for Portugal, though. Curve the Beast, Shots Z, both finding those misses, but the damage is done. 400k and rising. Hakashi coming back now. A little bit of trouble from Bancho. Mihao, the last combo remaining on the side of Portugal, finds that miss, but does Austria have the combo to respond? Volky still holding on to a 500 combo lead, but that is a little bit desync. I do think that is current enough to be able to bring the score lead back slowly but surely. 200k now. There is still a little bit of map left. Is there enough? And I do not think there is, Will Lamb.
The thing is, like, there is no combo at all on Portugal to try and contest this, but Austria just keep breaking those large combos that they built up. And even if the score lead has been pulled back so much, it's just gonna not be enough. And Portugal is going to be securing their own No Mod 5 pick. Maybe a lot closer than they would have liked, but, you know, a point is a point, and they're going to be taking this up 3-0.
Indeed, indeed. And it seems that Is that a Austria pick on Nomad 3?
Yes, it does appear so. It's gonna be the NOMELON 3 Protect actually to come out from Austria here. And, you know, I think at this stage of the map, it's where you want to throw out your Protect, right? Like, if Portugal wins, like, another 2 maps, they win the entire match. So, if you're feeling confident on your Protect, now is the best time to be throwing it out. And this Protect, I mean, you know, Austria struggled a little bit on that hidden 3, unfortunately, losing that breakpoint against Portugal, but given that this is Protect, surely they're feeling pretty confident on it, right? This sort of map, really just about that snap ult, sorry. Mainly spiking a little bit in the Kaais, and I think that's where we're going to be finding most of the breaks, but it is relatively consistent overall, and we've been seeing some pretty high scores on this sort of map. It is just all consistency at the end of the day.
Indeed it is. And I believe Portugal has banned this earlier in previous matches in their group, and perhaps Austria is capitalizing on that, at least uncomfortableness on the control skill set, such as this map.
Yeah, they did really struggle in their match against Finland where they played this, right? They got 1.6 million team score. Meanwhile, Austria, I think, playing against Finland, they got 1.8. So on paper, they have a higher score. But, you know, this is the sort of map where you can easily increase your score by quite a large margin if you are just able to hit those Kaais, right? This map does... You just need to be consistent on your own, really.
Yep, certainly so. And we do seem to be running into a little bit of a technical issue, but it is being resolved. And we are going to see the 4th player for Austria to come in. It is going to be Studia. And here we go into Austria's Protect. And Nomad 3 getting ready to get in now.
In this map, you kind of need to win if you're Austria, right? Like, you're 3-0 down, 1 breakpoint down. You really just need to be able to feel confident in getting a point on the board on this sort of pick. And, you know, just hoping that Austria is feeling comfortable, right? I mean, it is their Protect after all, and Portugal did struggle a lot with the NOMELON 3 in the qualifiers. But I think Austria did struggle quite a bit as well, so I don't really think that's anything to gauge off of. But it looks like all the technical issues have been resolved. We're going to be getting into this NOMELON 3 at last. And yeah, as I mentioned before, it's just going to be all about that ult consistency, that snap ult that you're used to seeing in this NOMELON 3 stock.
Yep, here we go. Immediately off the bat, we can see some of those snap ult patterns coming in. This map is on the longer side of the pool, going just over 3 minutes. No misses so far. Both teams holding strong. Studia finding a little bit of act drop, but Red Line is going to find that first miss in this lobby.
I mean, Red Line going to be finding that early miss, as well as Mihail, actually. It's going to give the combo early advantage to Austria. Portugal still have that score lead on their side, just purely off the accuracy, but that lead is not going to last for long as Red Line and Mihail keep finding those breaks. As we get into this first Kaai here, this is where the difficulty ramps up a little bit. This is where we're expecting to see more action to be had, but right now, it's just the break on Studia for the side of Austria against the 2 on the side of Portugal. So 3 FCs on Austria to 2 on Portugal, and you know that score lead is not massive at all, only 60k now. But Austria is gonna start running away with this as long as they can still hold that 3 FCs. But just as I say that, Kaai finds that crucial break.
Yeah, Portugal relying on their 2 carry players, MTG, Curb the Beast. The Red Line continues to find some misses. Studia trading that. Cal finds another miss as well, but it is going to give the combo advantage over to Portugal. Calamity is the only one holding on Austria. This is not what you would want to see on a protect pick, with the accuracy deficit on Calamity being just over 5% compared to Curb the Beast. But Curb the Beast, speaking of which, finds that crucial miss. It is going to be 1 FC to 1. The score lead is going to stop going over to the side of Portugal. The bleeding has been stopped. Cappy finds another miss, but is there going to be enough time? Is MTG going to find that miss, or is Calamity going to falter first? We will only have to see.
I mean, the thing is, Austria have those recovery combos on Cal and Studia, and meanwhile, Portugal, just the other players keep finding misses. I mean, it is still the 1v1 between Calamity and MTG, and if either of those huge FCs falls, then the map is just going to be decided. But as it stands now, Austria are trying to pull this one back. But the question is there enough time, right? There's very little time in the map left to have, but the scoreline is flickering. But just as I say that, all the combos across the board find the misses, and Austria just take the score by a measly 3k into this very ending section of the map. It's just gonna be about who can find those combos, who doesn't chin miss.
Any miss would matter here. Any 100s would matter here. The score lead is teetering on the edge. 3,000 and MTG finds that miss, the crucial miss, but it does not bring it over to the side of Austria. It is still Portugal holding onto that lead. Not quite. 2k, 6k, 4k score lead for Austria. The 100s were enough, and that miss from MTG is going to ensure that Austria takes their protect by the skin of their teeth.
A very close point. I think maybe closer than Austria would have liked on their protect, but you know, they have secured their first point and they are on the board. I mean, it was really just those recovery combos on like Cal and Studia that were able to just barely pull it back. Portugal just didn't have any real combo on their side. But now it's Portugal to respond with their own pick to potentially bring this up to match point, and they're going to be going into the protect with the hidden 2. Pretty expected as well to throw out your protect at this stage of the game. And, you know, I think Portugal is just going to be very favored on a map like this, right? Austria has just shown to be quite weak on the hidden and the gimmick in general. And even though they did put up a very good fight on the NOMELON 5, I think this map is going to be quite consistent and quite, you know, quite dominating for a team like Portugal, who is just very strong on the gimmicks, right? Austria did play this in their previous match against Finland, getting 1.9 million team score. But I mean, Portugal is just incredibly strong on this map, right? They played against Finland and got 3 million team score. And to make up a score difference like that for Austria is just going to be a tough feat, right? I think on Portugal's protect, you kind of just have to bite the bullet and maybe accept that you are going to be pushed against the wall and down at match point.
Indeed, responding to Austria's protect with their own, Portugal is going to be very confident into this HD2 here. We see all the players come in. Austria seems to be missing one of their players from NOMOD 5, but we will see how this roster change affects their scores in general on this HD2 as we get right into it.
Yeah, this hidden 2 gonna be your reading map of the pool. Gonna be focused on mainly reading rhythms or anything, right? There's a bunch of weird rhythms that you have to read, or just like know how they play to be able to hit them. But honestly, this map is quite accessible, all things considered. So Austria could put up a fight here, but given how dominant Portugal is on this map, it's gonna be a tall feat. And as we get into this, you're gonna see a tricky 1/3 pattern that might catch some people off, and there we see it. Cal being cut off, but it's traded right back by Kendall. But Studia finds another brace for the side of Austria now, and it's 3 FCs to 2.
In Indeed, and immediately we see that Portugal is just so much more comfortable on this map with the accuracy advantage, especially on Curb the Beast. 99.65 once again, showing just how dominant he is on these gimmick picks for Team Portugal here. Volk trying their best to put up a fight, 98.5%, still holding on to that last FC of the map. Cappy finding that miss just now. It is going to be 3 FCs to 1. We're going to have to see a full collapse for Portugal if Austria wants any chance of coming back, but that is a 600k, almost 700k score lead that they must make up now.
I mean, I just don't think there's any coming back from this, right? Like, Portugal is still holding the 3-way and the solid recovery combo on Kendall. And, you know, it's just really unfortunate for Volky here. Still holding that lonesome FC, but his team just unable to provide the sort of supporting scores that is necessary to bring this up. It's kind of just all eyes on Portugal's side right now. They're up 1 million score, pushing that 3 million team score mark, and you know, there's nothing you can do really. Portugal is going to be taking us up to match point, up 4-1, winning their protect as probably expected. And yeah, I mean, what is this team score, honestly? 3.7 million, almost increasing their score by 800k from last time. This is just so impressive for a team that's only seed 31.
Indeed it is, with a reverse choke on Kenzo's side and 3 incredibly high AC FCs on Team Portugal. That is an incredible team score that they've showcased here as their protect, and very understandably so for them to pick this as their protect. Austria will need to find some way to break through the absolutely indomitable defenses that Portugal has built up now, though.
You know, I think at this sort of juncture, I think Austria is going to be looking for those RNG consistency-based picks, right? I think, you know, the Nomad 1, Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1, I think are quite viable options for them. I think everything else just is too much in Portugal's favor, right? I think they don't want to go into free mod because Portugal's roster depth, I think, is going to be quite powerful on those mod maps. And I think Nomad 2, Hard Rock 2, I don't think Portugal are amazing on them by any means, but I think just the aim consistency maps are what Austria would want to pen to. And we do see that they pick out the Hard Rock 1, the burst consistency map.
Welcome to Tokyo.
Nope. As you have said earlier, consistency is the name of the game for this map. It is going to be aim burst consistency for HR1.
You don't really need it's not consistent necessarily for its length, but more just because I think this is one of the more like accessible picks in this Hard Rock pool. I think, well, I guess the Hard Rock pool is quite accessible in general, but I think this Hard Rock 1 is quite comfortable to play, even if you're not a Hard Rock specialist, right? It's very, you know, it's just standard stuff, right? You have your standard aim, you have some bursts in there, and it's all just very comfortable. I will say, I think the aim strain does sometimes hit you here. Sometimes they provide very little gaps in between these aim sections, so, you know, maybe that's something that will trip some of these players up, but I think as it stands right now, I think you know, all players should have a pretty good time on this sort of map. Yeah, I don't know. I think we did see this one get played by Austria in their previous match against Malaysia. They were able to put up a 2.1 million team score with a lovely FC by Calamity. But I do worry that that might not be enough against a team like Portugal. But I think, you know, we just have to wait and see. I think Portugal got a 1.7 million score last time, so Portugal do seem to be quite weak on this Hard Rock 1, sorry. But I mean, I think this is one of those maps where you can get quite big score gains just by being a little bit more consistent on the day.
Yeah, with a map length of just over 2 minutes once again, this map is relatively short as well. So any early misses, especially misses in the middle as well, is going to matter a ton for your overall score. But yeah, here we go. As we get into it, it is going to be Tokyo.
This is the crucial point for Austria, right? Portugal are up at match point, and they just need to win this pick to have that extra chance at survival. But we'll just have to see if they can clutch this one out. I mean, we've already talked about this map. This is going to be your standard in-burst consistency. And as we get past that first stream there, it's just breaks on the side of Portugal, actually. Redline and Kenzel are going to be ones to find the misses with no real response on Austria's side, still holding that 4 AFC. And as Redline finds another miss there, Austria are just going to kind of run away with this. I mean, it's still kind of early days, and Calamity is the one to find the break there, but as it stands right now, they still have 3 FCs to 2.
Yeah, indeed. 100k score lead now. Just over a third of the map is gone. There's still 3 FCs to 2, and now to 1. MTG finds that miss for Portugal. Mihail, the only one left standing. Not anymore. It is full combo reset for Team Portugal. Austria just showing how much more confident they are on this pick compared to Portugal, just generally how much more consistent. Studio finding that miss finally, but the damage has been done. 300k score lead for Austria. Here we go into the stream sections. Hakashi finds a miss, Studio finds a miss as well. Portugal has no combo to respond though. Kenzo, the only one holding any semblance of combo on their team. Calamity is keeping that in check though. 200k score lead remaining and only a fourth of the map left. Portugal needs to pull up something to make up that score difference right now.
I mean, they have pulled back the score lead pretty significantly, right? It was all the way up there, like 300k, and they brought it back down a pretty sizable margin. And with like everyone finding a break on Austria, with Kenzo the only one with a huge combo right now across the board, you know, I think it's going to be quite doable for Portugal to bring this one back, but they don't have much time at all, actually. I don't think there's much map after this, so yeah, I think it might just be Austria to secure that point.
And indeed, it seems like it is. We do see some immediately leaving from Austria, but the score lead is going to be confirmed. Austria is going to take their second pick much more convincingly this time compared to their Protect on Nomad 3. But the score lead is going to be 4-2.
Portugal have, like, they can just respond with their own pick here, so it is very dicey if you are in Austria's shoes right now. They have to win both Portugal's pick and your own pick, and then win on tiebreaker if you want to secure this match, so pretty long road ahead for Austria here, but we just have to see what Portugal ends up going for. I think Portugal is probably going to look, I want to say, at the free mods, I think. The free mod pool is the pool where their roster depth, I think, is going to shine quite heavily. And it also, if they go with the free mod 2, I think it also like gets up that gimmick, which they have been very strong. And does look they do end up going with that free mod 2 actually. So this map is going to be your standard anti-mod pick, right? And I think Portugal is just gonna have a very good day on this, right? They played it in their last match against Malaysia and they got a whopping 2.6 million team score there, so impressive stuff from their side.
Yep, indeed it is, and Fremont 2, a very understandable pick from Portugal, as you have said. The last gimmicky pick left in the entire pool, and just looking at the record of gimmick maps that has been played throughout this match, Portugal is very much favored for this. And with their roster depth, it's just gonna be up to whether or not Austria has the HR players and the hidden players to be able to match up to Portugal's scores.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see like a load of hiddens come out for the side of Austria here, because, you know, on that AR8, they seem to struggle quite a bit just based off that hidden too, so I think we may just see a bunch of hard rocks come out from Austria. And meanwhile, Portugal, I think, is just going to run with a pretty standard lineup, all considered. In the last match, they went with 2 hiddens, 1 hard rock, and 1 hidden hard rock, and that worked out for them pretty well, so I don't see why they would change it.
Indeed, so. But I do want to point out though, Austria has been seen to have like 1 or 2 outstanding players per map, especially on the gimmick maps, and then they have a few fill players. So something like Fremod could perhaps favor them on that kind of aspect, in which like they could have all of their standout players come in for their respective comfort mods on something like Fremod too.
Yeah, I think we just have to see how it plays out, right? Usually I think Fremod, because even if you can field a roster, Portugal, just having that roster depth, you can put your best players in each mod rather than having to put like players that can play the mod, but maybe it's not their specialty. So we'll just have to see how this one plays out. This free mod 2, I mean, as I've said, it's going to be your standard anti-mode. It's going to be a pretty old style map, featuring a lot of, you know, just chain aim, as I like to call it, just these circles and chain-like patterns, which can be pretty tricky to hit on the mods especially, but we'll just have to see how that one plays out. Portugal going to be running with 3 hiddens and 1 hidden hard rock, actually. Meanwhile, Austria going to be running 1 hidden hard rock, 1 hard rock, and 2 hidden. So, some interesting stuff coming out from both sides here.
Yeah, we see both sides going for that bit of a overmod. Cappy finding the first miss of the match, though. Still 7 FCs on the board.
Yep, still looking pretty solid on everyone's side, but this is a decently long map, sitting at 3 minutes, so we're gonna have to wait for more breaks. And just as I say that, Volky for Austria is the one to find the break. Meanwhile, Portugal is still holding that 4-way into this first Kaai here, and they're just gonna start running away with this, really. They just look so confident on this 3 mod 2. All the accuracies are absolutely insane. You know, Austria, I mean, Calamity and Cal may do what they can, but they can't really do much when they don't have the supporting scores from their team.
Indeed, we see this story play out time and time again. The combo's holding, but there's just not enough supporting combo to hold up, to put up a fight against Portugal. For Austria, Curve the Beast does find that miss, though, right before the break, but it's still 3 FCs to 2, and there is Volk drops another supporting combo for Team Austria.
Scorpion does look pretty stagnant right now. It doesn't seem to be moving in either side, but Portugal just having that built up, that score lead, is just gonna favor them so much. I mean, they're still holding 3 full combos. Austria does have pretty matching combos, all things considered, right? They have the 2 FCs and the recovery from Cappy here, but they really need to make sure they hold if they want to bring this back. And just as I say that, Calamity, one of those FCs, finds the miss. Meanwhile, Portugal is still holding, but never mind. Dumb Idiot on the side of Portugal and Curve the Beast both find breaks, but it's still 2 FCs to just 1 on Cal on the side of Austria, and that score lead is only getting larger and larger as we move into this last third of the map, 300k and counting.
Indeed, Cal being the HDHR overmod on the side of Austria, still being matched up with Kenzo with a bit of an accuracy deficit, but there's just no one to match up to Mihel's incredible 97.9% FC right now. Still a third of the map remaining, though. If there's a collapse coming out from Portugal, there is still a chance for Austria to come back.
And I worry that the map is just not going to be dense enough, right? Like, 350k is just so much, and there's running out of time. And these 2 full combos on Portugal just don't want to give an inch at all. They're still holding all the way, and that score lead is only increasing, 400k. And I don't want to say it now, but I think it may just be too little too late. Now, Portugal is going to be running away with the free mod 2, and they are going to be ones winning this match. And just with that break with Cal, it's just all but secured. Portugal are going to be taking this match 5-2, and making it out of the group stage.
Indeed, and that last miss from Kaai is going to be the nail in the coffin for Team Austria. A very, very well fought match indeed for them, but Portugal just has that roster depth, just has that overall consistency, and they are going to close this match out.
I mean, very good showing from Austria, but Portugal just looked a lot stronger on a lot of those maps. So, just unfortunate, really. Austria put up a good fight throughout this group stage, but Portugal is going to be the ones joining, I believe it is Malaysia in the bracket stage.
It is going to be so, and that is going to be this match for you guys. This is going to be 5-Digit World Cup 2026. My name has been Aquatic, and joining me is Willem, and we'll see you guys in under 13 minutes, actually.
Yeah, we have a bunch of matches lined up, I believe. We have France versus Spain, Peru versus Switzerland, and maybe Poland versus Czechia. I'm not sure if that one's getting streamed, but do stay tuned for those because they'll be happening very, very shortly. But I think we're going to call it there, Aquatic, right?
Yep, indeed it is. Bye-bye.